All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe. I've been owing you a follow-up video on my last Barracuda test session. So I put that video out about 2 weeks ago, but that session itself happened about 2 weeks before No Name Nationals. So the week, or maybe 3 weeks, the week following that, we went back to the racetrack and got to do some test and tune stuff. I also went ahead and raced that day. It was just a bracket Sunday, and for another $25 you can enter. So I figured, I need to make the passes. It'll do what it does, and I'm really focusing on traction at this point. This entire day was ran with the 750 AED carburetor. So to be clear, you know, my goals with the car then and now was to speed it up. I'm not out to make it an all-out super outlaw car of some kind. It'll never be that with the combination of parts. And I don't really have that desire to want to go faster. Like, I'm pretty pleased with where it's at now. That was a lot more than I was expecting. We picked up about 0.6 over the old 400. So going from the 512 to the 400. So everything's great, minus the traction issues. So what I'll get into in this video, I got a couple quick questions to answer from the last comments. Let me get you number one up here first. First comment here. All these are positives. Like I said, a lot of people, they want to give input. It's what YouTube's for. You comment, you tell your stuff, your story, your opinion. He believes that I should tie the front end down on the car. So I thought, hey, that's a viable idea. What I went ahead and did, I borrowed some factory bump stops that were brand new from my buddy Michael, and I put those in the car. So they're about 2 inches long, and I replaced the ones that are in the car. The ones in the car were just smashed down to basically, they're mushroomed down to about a 1/2 inch thick, which is, in my mind, fine. A lot of front limiter or front bump stop or whatever, but if you have a car that's slightly underpowered or you're having problems with 60 foot, I've personally seen it to cut those bump stops or even remove them and put just a bolt in there, and the 60 foot picks up because it allows the front end to drop more and gives it more rearward rotation backwards. I've seen it work. So that's what was in the car, and I just ran it like that. But here's the first pass with the stock bump stops. You'll see what happens here. Okay, so it immediately, as soon as those bump stops hit and it was pulling the front end, the tires break loose again. I think I ran a 681 that pass at 104. So I'm in the left-hand lane, a 160 60 foot, which is worse than I had with the 400 in the car. So I'll move on to my second pass. The only thing I changed here was I put those short, stumpy front bump stops back in, the ones that were smashed down to nothing. That's the only thing I changed. Nothing else was different. And we went out and had the best pass that the car's ever ran, or rather fastest pass that the car's ever ran. So I'm going to slow this down again. I want you to watch how quickly the front end drops in the car, because this is one of the days I guess I've gotten so used to the car spinning or whatever. It actually surprised me when it took off. And for that split moment when I'm like seeing daylight, I short shifted it. So this pass, 640 at 104 miles per hour with the 750 AED, I shifted that about 5,500 RPM. So I should have held it a little longer, and I think I could have actually broken to the 30s at that point. But like I said, hindsight. So I tried for the rest of the day to get the car to hook up better. That was a 135 60 foot. And that's, that's at Newport. Newport's a good old airport track with sometimes minimal prep, but it does have some prep down. So in the car, I put in double adjustable rear shocks, and that's what the day was about. We were going to try to adjust those out to try to make the tires work better. The tires on the car are a 28-10-5 Pro bracket radial, which I don't actually have a reason to have to run that size of tire. I'm not in a class for any of that, but I was buying the tires from a buddy who is in one of those classes, and he only puts about 10, 15 passes on his tires, and then he sells them. So that's where I ended up with mine. Moving forward, this next pass here, we try to add 2 clicks of added extension to the shocks, and that didn't actually do anything at all. So we go back the opposite direction. We subtract 3 clicks of extension from the shocks. And that, again, doesn't really help anything. So pretty much here, we're gonna make other minor adjustments throughout the day, and but also keep trying to drag race. So I'm dialing pretty conservatively here. Sometimes 665. Early on, I tried a 645. The car was running 670s and 660s. So I wanted to dial what I knew the car would run, and if it did hook up, then I would just let off at the other end or tap my brakes or something. Try to bracket race. That's what I'm here for. So I had a pretty decent day. By the end of the day, I think I ended up in the top 5, so I made like $75. So currently in the car, I have swapped the 850 that I got from AED into the car. Like that's what I ran at No Name Nationals. And I had another question about, or a comment actually, that my front end is separating too quickly and I'm not getting any separation in the rear at all. So I wanted to add that clip back from that I got from Blake at Bad Tree Productions at No Name Nationals of the car and how the rear suspension worked in the car when we the final shock tune that was in it. I'm studying getting some adjustable front shocks if I need them, but my next time out, which may be before the end of this year, I have swapped converters back to the one that was slightly tighter, and I have my spare transmission in right now. I got to rebuild the other one because the front stator messed up, and I want to send this other converter back before I ever try it in something again. But I'm putting my slicks on. Like, there's no reason I can't run slicks. And I have some 29 10.5Ws, wider, larger contact patch, slightly taller. It will put more tire on the ground. So in theory, it should hook and book. We're going to see that. And that's with the new carburetor on, like I said. And I'm going to go try the bracket race with it and see what happens. If I lose, then I got some good data. I'll see how the new converter does. It flashes slightly lower. And when I had it behind my 400 previously, it's like it wouldn't hardly flash at all. But I think I probably added 150 foot-pounds of torque or something, so now it does flash. And it was actually made from PTC for a 500 plus cubic inch stroker. So we'll see how it all goes. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you next time.